You ever feel trapped? Not physically, mentally. Like you're trapped in a situation. Trapped in a life you never really meant to build. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's a paycheck you can't afford to lose. Maybe it's waking up every Monday wondering how this became your life. If you've ever sat in your car before work telling yourself, I can't keep doing this, only to walk inside anyway, you've probably asked yourself one question: why am I still here? Most people think they already know the answer. I need the money. I'm afraid of change. I haven't found anything better. And while those things are true, I don't think they're the real reason. Because what if the thing keeping you trapped isn't your job? Welcome back to It's Just Monday, a place for people stuck in jobs they hate who are trying to build a way out. That feeling of being trapped can show up in a lot of places. But today, I want to talk about where I think many of us experience it the most: at work. Has anyone ever asked you why you stayed in a job you hate? Maybe it was a family member tired of hearing you complain. Maybe it was a friend that always believed you can do better than the job you're currently in. I think we all stay for different reasons, but those reasons are often more similar than we realize. I didn't stay because I loved my job. It was because leaving felt impossible. Because regardless of the Sunday night dread, regardless of waking up every Monday with a pit in my stomach, regardless of constantly asking myself, how did I get here? To this life that somehow happened while I was busy trying to be responsible, busy trying to put food on the table, busy trying to keep a roof over my head, busy trying to keep my credit intact. And even with all that, staying still felt safer than leaving. Not because it was good, because it was familiar. I think our brains don't ask, is this making you happy? They ask, did you survive yesterday? If the answer is yes, your brain says, then let's do that again. Even if the job is miserable, it's predictable. Predictability feels safe. Leaving feels uncertain. So your brain says, stay where we know how to survive. But familiarity wasn't the only thing keeping me there. It wasn't only the responsibility of making sure my bills were paid. Something else happened. I adapted. I adapted to the pain. I adapted to the discomfort. Sometimes we think that if we're pushed far enough, we'll eventually snap. But sometimes we don't. Humans are unbelievably adaptable. We adapt to Sunday night anxiety. We adapt to rude customers. We adapt to bad bosses. We adapt to constant stress. And one day, what used to feel unbearable just feels normal. And that's the scary part. Eventually, staying stopped feeling like a choice. My identity became tied to staying. I remember thinking at one point, I've spent over 10 years of my life here. I've built relationships here. And as much as I hated the job, there were times I was a little sentimental about it. After all, This was the first job I had out of college. The job had become part of who I was. So how do I just leave? Leaving didn't just feel like changing careers. It felt like leaving a part of myself behind. And then there was the overanalyzing. One of the reasons I think I stayed is because I was constantly trying to find reasons why now was never the right time. I'll wait until I have more money and I can put some aside just in case the new job doesn't work out. I'll wait until the economy improves and I have a better chance of trying to find a good job. I'll wait until the perfect opportunity appears, until I'm more qualified. I'll wait until I have more credentials. I'll wait until I can afford to take a pay cut. And eventually, years pass. You realize more than 10 years have passed, and now it feels like it's too late. Too late to start over. Too late to move. Too late to take action. Too late to try. It all just feels like it's too late. And then you convince yourself that at least you have a job. At least you get a paycheck every 2 weeks, so you stay. And you continue to find reasons to keep yourself stuck in a life you never signed up for. So what happens when you stop seeing how expensive staying really is? We naturally calculate, what if I leave? We come up with all the reasons why we should stay. But we rarely calculate, what if I stay? What does that cost me long term? What do I have to give up and keep giving up to stay? My dreams, my goals, my plans, my happiness, the life that I always dreamed of. And what will 5 more years cost? What will 10? Maybe 15? How many more Mondays? How much more confidence do I have to lose? How much more energy do I have to give? I stopped looking at the cost of staying because I was so focused on the fear associated with leaving. Maybe you're not ready next month. That's okay. This isn't about making reckless decisions. It's about finally being honest about the price you're already paying, because staying has a cost too. And once you can see both sides clearly, you can finally make a decision based on your future instead of your fear. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments, what is one reason you feel you're still in a job you hate? And remember, on this channel, we're not just surviving Mondays, we're building our way out.